Mm. Okay. So, welcome to the space. Gaby is joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Henrik?
Fine, thank you. So, we are here to talk about the Food System Innovation Project, right? And the idea is to explain what it's all about and how it would work on the practical level um, in these meetings. So there's some changes to the program. Last year we were meeting 4 weeks um, in this program, and it has now been extended to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So if it's okay, I'll try to explain how we go about it.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Mhm. So um, having these curiosity conversations, we'll try to do that in this space that we call the discovery program. And discovery program that covers quite some aspects to it. The idea basically is to reach out to a stakeholder in the food system, right?
Mhm.
That could be, the farmer, it could be your grocery store, it could be your restaurant, but it could also be the truck driver because he's bringing the products from one place to another. It's part of the system. But
Mhm.
if you like, you could actually reach out to your grandmom as well, because I guess
Oh,
she's
yeah.
cooking the food, right? So she's definitely a part of the food system, right?
So it's really just anybody who eats or delivers or handles food.
It's amazing how food applies to all of us, right? And so
Mhm.
it's a good entry point. Um, so again, as we call it, discovery program, because we want to go out and discover something, you know. And if it's not about that other person, we'll probably discover something about ourselves in this
Mhm.
program. Um, and so this is also why in this program we have a bunch of surveys that we ask people to fill out. Um, and there's this part of the self-reflection before coming into a meeting, which is rather important. So in this program, you could say that what you put into it is also what you take away, right? So
Mhm.
it does require some involvement in this space, depending on how much you would like to take away, right? Uh,
Mhm.
and that's also why we call it a half-baked cookie, uh, because we have prepared so and so much, but it's up to you how you would like your cookie to be. Depending on your participation in this, if you want your cookie chewy or crispy, you have that possibility of affecting the result. Okay.
Mhm.
So the thing about these surveys is that it's rather important to fill them out, and in advance, for your own benefit, to sit with these things. Why am I involved in this process? What is my take on the state of the world, so to say? um, but also for the facilitator to have a chance of getting a feel for what's in going on in people's spaces that are joining these meetings.
Mhm.
If they have any questions, if they have any friction, we have a chance then to adapt and adjust and attend to those things in the meeting. And that's why I'm asking or begging that it won't be all the participants who fill out just 5 minutes prior to entering the meeting. I won't have chance to read them all then. You know.
Right. It sounds like you really want to fill us out and almost as if it's like a homework assignment or a journal assignment for yourself and for the program.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea because we put quite a lot of effort into what questions to ask and how to ask them.
Mhm.
So again, it's up to you, right? There's one thing as well I would like to be clear about is that if filling out a survey is the killer for you, right? I mean, if you're drained by energy by filling these out on a computer, please don't, right? We definitely we want this to be an energetic experience for you and not a killer. Um, and so if that should be the case, I mean, it's not everybody who are good with computers and techniques and stuff like that. So at least then sit with the questions, right? Just go for a walk in nature and sit with these questions and do the reflective process. That would be a good idea. Okay.
About how many questions are there on these surveys?
Sorry?
About how many questions are there on the surveys?
Oh, it varies from week to week. It's going to be different, but you can expect, let's say, 1 hour of homework in between different activities every week.
Okay.
In roughly speaking, right? So then we join in these meetings, and there's going to be 4, maybe 6 people in each group, coming in from all over the world. And the most important thing in the first meeting is simply to connect, because there can be all walks of lives, right? Students and senior citizens in the same room. And so just tapping into what's going on in each person's field and why you are joining this program and what's important to you. That's just what we do in the first meeting. Then we normally also do a breathing exercise.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the reason for that?
You know, so many of us have meetings just before, and then we jump into this, and then we have another meeting later, busy lives, right? And so just letting go of whatever's occupying our minds and stepping into this moment to be present is a really important thing. Because what's happening in this space is not so much what I try to create, it's what we create together.
Yes.
If people are joining this program and then they turn off the camera and then they do other things at the same time while only listening with half an ear, and so only when called upon they will interact, it means that, you know, the other people in this group will not get the same experience when we are not really present and paying attention and collaborating and interacting. So for this to be a good experience for you, we need the other people to do that, and we also need to do our part in making this a good experience for the other participants. Okay? And so in this first meeting, we'll probably go around asking what could be the worst possible outcome from participating in this program or reaching out to a farmer, etc. Could you imagine what could be the end of the world, you know? And we'll also be asking what could be the best possible outcome, right? And give it a little thought, you know, what actions or attitudes could make the difference from the one to the other, okay? I think it's a good way also to loosen up, because we will normally get to laugh a little bit about ourselves if we do that. So, and this is, you know, part of what we're doing here is trying to create that atmosphere where we are more relaxed, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and while you are now joining this program, it also means you have now access to join this space that we call our Friendly Fridays.
Oh, tell me more.
It works that in this way that every Friday we open up a space where previous members of this program can hang around and stay in the loop, connect with each other. We'll always do a breakout room where you connect one-on-one with another person. It's a space where you can, you know, just let go of whatever friction you have, because we like to celebrate when we encounter any friction. We can celebrate our successes as well. But basically, this is about creating network, you know, between all of these people who are somewhat like-minded about the food system. Keeping in touch has been a big motivator for previous people to have that space. And so you'll be having a chance for joining in this space as well and taking advantage.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Definitely, and we quite intentionally try to keep it loose, you know, a chill, or we call it after party, That's the kind of atmosphere we can crack a few jokes and maybe sing a song. You know, that's just magic. So I hope if you want, join that space, because it sounds like and seems like a lot of fun for those who will participate.
Yeah, it sounds like a beautiful community just to stay connected and just be open in a safe space.
Yeah. So that was the first meeting. That was the first week. And then before coming in for the second meeting, we'll invite you to go to the hub in Mighty Network and share who you are, get to know the other people in that space. And when you access that space of the hub, we have a private hub in the Mighty Network for this program. You can see other people, what their experience was previously, what is the stories that they have written or encountered, or the wisdom that they are sharing with everybody. So that's something you can do in the hub. It's one more place where we can connect with others and learn from their experiences. And also before coming in for the second meeting, there'll be another survey and we'll be asking you to define who you'd like to connect with. You know, is it a farmer? Is it a restaurant? Do you know which restaurant, etc.? Just so we start to take some action. Okay.
Okay. So in the hub, if I came across like a really informative article or story just from somebody outside of the group, would I be able to share it?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
That group or that hub is meant for people to interact, you know, share our inspiration, or but mostly anything that has something to do with what we're doing in this program. So
Right, with the food system.
anything that could be relevant for this program is welcome. If you start to share politics and stuff like that, I might say, hey, there are other spaces for that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And so coming into the second meeting, we'll again do the connection and we'll do the breathing. And then this time we'll do breakout rooms.
Okay.
It's important that before going out and contacting somebody in the food system, that we have actually practiced these skills of how to hold a curiosity conversation.
Okay.
So there we have some templates for how we recommend how to contact your farmer or your restaurant, and we have some templates that explains how we recommend you going about having this curiosity conversations. So we'll practice that in breakout rooms, and we'll come back and we'll share what that was like, and hopefully we can close with some gratitude.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I like that you can practice before just going out and saying, hey, I have questions for you.
Actually, I'm not going to tell you you can't do that.
Right.
Right. It's you need to follow your own instincts and your own wisdom for how to go about it. But it's my recommendation that we practice and learn. So there's a higher possibility that when you do the reaching out to the restaurant, etc., that it's going to be a good experience for everybody, right? And then we also invite you to, after the meeting, reach out to your facilitator. There's a very good idea in connecting and getting aligned or getting adjusted in case you have some doubts or some questions. Also, if you experience friction in this process, you know, somebody, you know, they're very in doubt about, should I knock on the door or should I call in advance or write an email? We have all different kinds of experiences and different frictions coming up. And so a way to go about that is reaching out to your facilitator so we can help you as best as possible. So that's just an option. It's an open invitation, and see how we can support each other in the best possible way.
Okay.
All right. And again, so that was the second meeting. Before we come in for the third meeting, go to the hub, share who you would like to talk to, any friction that you've experienced, just ventilate in that space means that you're also now getting clear in your mind about what's the path that you would like to take in this program. We come into the third meeting, we go out, practice again in breakout rooms, and we sit with wherever we are in this process. Are you ready to reach out to your farmer, or do we need to be specifics for a plan of action to take place, right? Okay. That was the third meeting. And so after the third meeting, it's now time to actually try to put it into practice. Hopefully by now you have set up the conversation with your restaurant, with your grandmom, or who it is. And in case you don't, then we have the option for also reaching out to a previous member of the program. There are so many of those who would like to connect and be in this space with the new people in the program. And that's a beautiful opportunity to tap into what these previous members learned from being in the program. And so just practice reaching out and learn from that process,
Yeah, that sounds good, especially for somebody who might be a little more nervous to reach out or just struggling to take that initial step. I like that others are open to having more practice conversations.
Yeah. And so one way or another, I hope the message that I'm getting across here is that we are in this space to support each other.
Yes.
Because, the idea is to go beyond our comfort zone, right? And when we do that, we experience friction. That's normal. And so getting that support for going beyond our current limitations is actually rather important. So the whole idea here is to create that space where we can, share our vulnerability and support each other in the best possible way. And that's a collective process. It's a collective work. It's not just up to the facilitator. We support each other, and it's so beautiful to see when that happens. Okay. So then we come in for the fourth meeting in the fourth week. And this is now time to celebrate what friction you have, what you uncovered so far, your progress. And this is also where we start to talk about storytelling. If we come from this program and we have an inner, exploration and inner growth from dealing with friction and our limitations, boy, is that good. But also, let's say you now reached out to a farmer and you really had a conversation where you just asked authentic questions to this farmer, making him or her feel seen, heard, valued, appreciated. I am absolutely sure that's going to have an impact on that other person. Wow, that's actually somebody who's really interested in listening to what it's like to be a farmer, right?
Right.
Then we have at least two people that has been positively impacted from this program, But let's take this even a step further. If we dare to share what we learned in this program, whether that was a personal insight, whether it was a farming technique that you learned from a biodynamic farmer, whether it was something about life in general, if we could actually tell that to the other people in this program, or even to all the people or the members in Farmers Footprint, or let's say the whole world on YouTube, we have a chance of, causing some positive ripple effects beyond our own little world. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
And so I think we have a much bigger potential than what we usually think. You know, people would have gone through the program, and they would, at the end of the program, maybe say, hey, I didn't get a good conversation going. I don't really have a story to tell. They turned me down, or I don't know, you know. But actually, if you dare to tell that story, I'm sure there's a lot of people who can connect with that, you know. Hey,
Yes.
I was procrastinating as well, you know. So
Mhm.
find
There's
out,
something, sounds like there's something to learn from those experiences as well.
even let's say the negative ones can be a
Mhm.
really good experience if you dare to tell it, so that other people could learn from it, not only
Right.
you. Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's why we start to initiate this thought process of how could we tell our story, right?
Right.
Mhm. That was the fourth meeting. And
Mhm.
again, now there'll be some activities in the hub, going and presenting your story so far. We can practice telling it in that space, get some feedback, etc. And then coming in for the fifth meeting, we will share our progress so far. What did you learn from this
Okay.
program? Okay.
Mhm.
But now it takes a turn because we would normally say, hey, this is what I learned. This is what I see could be a potential story. Good. But
Mhm.
let's hear now from our peers in this program, invite them to tell us what they hear unfolding in our space. What did they see that we um, experienced, or what would they find interesting that we could tell as a story?
Oh, different perspective.
Yep. And that's actually quite cool because oftentimes we are limited in what we think is unfolding, but somebody else can see a completely different aspect or some other details. And what I don't find interesting, wow, somebody else found that interesting. So, maybe it's worthwhile telling that story.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm. So that's what we do in the fifth meeting, trying to define, how can we tell a story, and what story would be interesting to tell, and what action can we take in that regard. Okay.
Okay.
Then we come in for the sixth meeting, and this time we present our stories, right? This
Okay.
is where in the sixth week, we invite, let's say, the public to join in, so they can have a feel for how this program um, is running, what is our experiences,
Okay.
what is the learning, and we will practice telling,
Mhm.
showing what we've uncovered so far. So that's what this program is all about, and how it's going to unfold in those different weeks. So
Wow.
that was a lot compressed into a short time. Um, so
Yeah, it sounds like quite an experience that's beyond just the food system. The food system is a starting point to create common ground, but there's so much more that you can get out of this process as well.
yeah, definitely. And what do you see could be something that could be worthwhile? Why would you participate in this? What speaks to you about this program, if I may ask?
I think for me, I'm exploring the potential of starting my own business
Okay.
and within the food system
Hmm.
and wanting to pick the brains of others that are currently in the industry
Hmm.
and really just understanding, what their highs and lows are so that I can be better prepared for when I start my business.
Hmm. Yeah, amazing.
Mhm.
Because I think we see this happening, that the people who've gone through the program, learning how to connect, how to reach out.
Mhm.
Once we've done that a few times, if we repeat the program a few times, we now get so comfortable that it becomes a natural skill, and we will
Right.
then apply that within our, let's say, private sphere or in our work sphere. Um,
Mhm.
and so that's just amazing to see how people could bring this these principles to the world. But I would like to mention then, if you are up about getting a project going or a business, like you say,
Yes.
we have this other aspect to the program, that once you've gone through this discovery program, okay, we'll now invite people to enter what we call the accelerator program. Let's say you have this idea, maybe you have a dream, you have a project, you have a business you would like to get started. We'll put people together in small groups again, to support each other getting stuff done. You know, because sometimes
accountability.
Yeah, accountability is such a simple thing. And if you know that we asked you last week, what are you going to do before next meeting, then you know that next meeting we're going to ask you, did you do it then? That's probably a good chance that we'll get stuff done, right?
Yeah.
But also, just let's say you have a crazy idea maybe, and you'd just like to bounce it off with some of the other people and hear, is it really crazy? Or, you know, that's something that that we could use or practice to do in these spaces as well. And so some people are on very different space levels, and for some maybe it's to do a SWOT analytics on your project or your idea. Let's put in some real practical tools for how to analyze if you are heading down the right direction. And of course, we're leading with curiosity. So it's not us telling what is right and wrong. It's simply helping people getting curious and open to what could be a way of moving on if you are feeling stuck on any
place. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like helping to get past like writer's block, for example.
Yeah.
When you're too close to the project.
Yeah, and there's so many talents, different talents in this space. You know, somebody know how to set up a website, and somebody knows how to do some market research, and you know, it's just a matter of reaching out. You'll probably find the support that you need.
Yeah. I think that sounds wonderful, especially for just people who don't know, who have an idea, just don't know what to do next.
Right. Yeah. And just like in the discovery program, it's possible to repeat and repeat. You know, this program runs for 6 weeks. And so every 2 months we repeat, and you can go over again. It's like reading a very good book. You pay attention to new details and go deeper and deeper every time. It's just a matter of getting better and better. And so within this space of holding curiosity conversations, it's our hope that you know, if you start out, my recommendations is you reach out to somebody that you are, let's say, admiring or in favor of, or you know, approve of in some way. But then let's challenge ourselves and repeat, you know, and then go to another level with somebody that, you know, maybe you're neutral about. You're not particularly fond of, but you're just curious about, you know, how is that biodynamic farming even possible? Or, you know, what's going on in the soil? Reaching out to somebody who knows about that and get some information. But even beyond that, let's take it to the next step, you know, reaching out to somebody that you don't like, you know, somebody that you disapprove of on some level, you dislike that person. You know, that's what we see is really missing in this world, that we actually have. Let's say you are on an organic farmer, right? And reach out to a GMO farmer, and you would normally start telling about, you know, how things ought to be done. But this program is about, you know, holding back that agenda, and just allow that other person to feel seen, heard, appreciated, etc. And not doing this for the sake of, you know, we want this other person to change. It's not going to work probably.
Right.
But if we could actually reach out for the purpose of me, I want to learn why that man or person is using GMO. What is it that's so fantastic about that? Because I don't get it, right?
Right. Yeah. You never know what you're gonna learn.
Exactly. But it's just really, really difficult to be authentically curious without shining through that, hey, I disagree a lot with you, right?
Right. Yes. That is very difficult.
And that's why, you know, it is a skill. It's something that we can practice. It's something we can improve. And this is our hopes with this program, that people will repeat and finally be able to have these conversations, because I think that's something the world needs.
I agree. I think people are just too scared to have conversations with people or businesses that they already have a preconceived notion about.
Yeah.
And so take that away and then see what you can find out. Your mind might change, or it might just confirm what you already knew, and that can help you feel better within yourself.
There's definitely a whole array of things possible if we dare to put ourselves on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so
Stepping
much
out of
for joining for this conversation. And so I'll just